Hi, Robert. Can you hear me? There
Yes,
we go. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Your summer off to a good start so far?
Yeah, it's off to a good start so far.
Excellent. That's good to hear. You look like you've had a little sun.
Yeah, I have.
That's great. Getting outside, enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty. So, as far as voiceover, what have you been doing lately?
I did a couple more auditions on Voice 123, and
Cool.
yeah, and I did four more or three more narration clips for my narration reel.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's a
yeah,
lot. I'm so glad to hear that. You're like, been on it.
yeah,
And the more you do, the more it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. And it becomes easier. When you first
yeah,
start, it's like, took me all 2 weeks to get one thing done. Like I
yeah.
recorded one clip of like 30 seconds. And then we're like, okay, now let's edit it. And then now you're like, okay, I know what's going on. So it's a little bit easier to get stuff done. I love that. Awesome. So what would you say at this point is your next goal, your next thing that you're striving for?
I think I want to do, so I have four clips so far for my narration reel. I think I want to do two more
Okay,
to have like a
great.
total of six clips. Would you like to hear the three that I recorded?
Yeah, I would. I'd love that. Are you gonna send the recordings through so I can take a listen to those
Yeah,
just
I'll
so
send it through the
everything
chat.
wrapped up? Excellent. Yeah, that way I can get a good idea of, after the edits and your recording set up at home, all that good stuff. Are
Yeah.
you feeling more confident when you listen? Are you like, "Ooh, I can definitely hear some progress here"?
Yeah.
That's a good feeling, isn't it? When you're like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm doing better." And I think it's really fun to go back and compare earlier recordings to where you're at now and be like, "Oh, okay. Heck yeah." Because I think it's hard when it's, you all the time to see that progress. And then,
Mhm.
when you can compare it side to side, you've got some time between, it's a lot easier. Nice. All right. These popped up. I'm going to take a listen real quick. Which of these, out of curiosity, is your favorite?
I think the new Technolux headquarters one.
Oh, sweet. Okay, great. I'll listen to that one next then. Righty. I'll take some notes as I go, and that way I can
Yeah.
just give you some feedback all at once. Okay. Okay. Play. Let me check. I'm just gonna re-listen to a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so I started with the new Technolux. Let me listen to that one more time. Okay. Then I'm gonna do this one again. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Alrighty. So overall, really nice here. Some positives that I liked. Um, Good enthusiasm. I thought on the Technolux, good corporate commercial sound. I did say you could be a little bit faster for that because it is kind of that like commercially kind of sound. Those tend to be a little bit faster. So I think we can go a little bit faster there. Um, I really liked on the bioluminescence one. Um, I liked the like fascination, like you sounded like you were really interested in what you're talking about. I also thought with the national park, really good on the descriptive words, good points of view as well. So I'm noticing if you listen on bioluminescence at about 11 seconds in, it sounds like maybe your foot like bumps a stand or something. Like there's a very subtle something. It's barely there, but and it's when I like pump up the volume, it's almost like your foot like bumps the stand or like, maybe your leg like nudges the desk or something. Like there's a
Mm.
subtle sound like that. Um, and then on New Technolux, um, I feel like the enunciation is almost too much there, almost like a stage enunciation. Trust that your microphone is going to pick up your clear diction. You don't have to
Okay.
exaggerate it quite as much. Um, like on stage, I might do, mm, it means, Mr. Whiteside, that I am leaving. My resignation is on the desk inside. You can send me a check. Whereas if I'm doing voiceover, I have a mic, right here, right with me, right? And so it's right there. It's going to pick things up. So I can do, it means, Mr. Whiteside, that I am leaving. My resignation is on the desk inside. You can send me a check, right? So my consonants don't have to be quite as poppin' with energy.
Okay.
And there's just like a little bit with the mic pickup, like the consonants just stand out a little too much, I think, on that new Technolux one because of that. Especially on the stop plosives like P's and B's, those p, b, right? K. Any that are those consonants where the air stops briefly and then pops out the other side, it's just a little too much. So I feel like maybe re-record with just a little bit of just like not quite as energized on those consonants with the
Hmm.
breath. The breath can be a little less energized there. And then I would redo the bioluminescence just because at around 11 seconds, it just sounds to me like a little like nudge of the stand or something. Like there's just some little sound like something got bumped kind of a thing. So if you listen really, really closely and like crank up the volume, you'll hear there's like a little sound that's like, what is that? And to me, it sounds like you just like bumped the stand or something like that. But again, really good enthusiasm, really good like corporate commercial sound on the one, a little faster when we're doing those like corporate commercial sounding pieces. Really good descriptions, points of view, enthusiasm on the other two. So a lot of really positive things, and I'm getting really, really nitpicky now. I'm like, if we do just these little subtle things, it's going to make it sound even better. So, yeah, do you want to listen to that bioluminescence now, just around like start maybe like 9 seconds and try to hear it like 11 seconds? There's like a little something there. And
Yeah.
it's really subtle. You might have to like really crank the volume up. One time I had feedback on a thing that I had submitted and they were like, "Okay, if you crank it really high, you'll hear just very, very, very subtly in the background a dog barking somewhere in the distance." And I was like, I had to really crank it up and I was like, "Oh, it is barely there, but yes." And so it was like somehow, I don't know what it was, but somehow it picked up just a teensy bit of a dog barking. And I was like, wow, I totally missed that. And I was like, it had to be like right outside, because it was supposed to be soundproofed. I was like, how did that, like maybe an air vent or something? I have no idea, but I was like, wow, they had some good ears on this. So yeah.
So I'll go ahead and listen to that.
Hmm.
That's not it. Some of the most mysterious and evasive creatures of Earth's oceans. Scientists are continually discovering more about them, but some questions remain unanswered. Without a See, I didn't hear it. Let's see, 11
Oh,
about them, but some questions remain. Oh, I think I do.
it's so subtle. It's barely there.
Are
I hate when that
continually
happens. I'm
discovering
like,
more about them, but some. Oh, yeah. I think I do hear it now.
yeah, it's really subtle, but it's there. I
Scientists
listened
are
3 times to be
continually
sure.
discovering more about them, but some questions. Yeah, well, the thing is with this one, I did several recordings of it,
Yeah, okay.
so I can copy
You
and
can actually
paste.
copy and paste. Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. Nice. Perfect. Yeah. So that just that one little spot. Yeah, perfect. Great. And I would say, the other isn't terrible. It just sounds like a little exaggerated on the consonants. So that was the only thing. So something you could play with if you want to keep that same one, maybe try doing like you could do some normalization again on it, and see if that helps with those popping consonants a little bit, mellow those out. And you can even speed it up a little bit in editing if you don't want to redo the entire thing, because otherwise it sounds really good. So maybe play a little with editing and see if you can smooth it out a little bit, speed it up a hair, and then see if you like that. Okay.
Okay.
Great. So for today, what would you say is your number one goal for this session?
I think maybe practice some other narration scripts and get ready
Sure.
to do some
Great.
recording because I just want to do two more. I have there's the documentary one, there's the Yellowstone one that's kind of like a voice you hear at a visitor center over the intercom, and then
Great.
the new Techno Lux that's kind of like a promotional ad. And then I have the one from last week, the Life on Mars, that was very dramatic. So I was thinking maybe something different from all of those, like maybe like a more humorous narration or like a humorous one and like a scary one, like narrating a horror novel or something
I love that
uh,
idea.
a comedy book and then like a horror book just to give like a real big contrast.
Okay, love that. Hmm. Comedy and horror. Okay. So this is from Technically I Didn't Burn the House Down. It's like a first person narrative comedic novel. It's kind of like sitcom dad energy, I feel like. I think it's cute. All right, so here's a chunk of this one that I think is interesting. Oh, it's a little too long, so I'm going to send it in two chunks here because it's telling me that's too much. Alrighty, so let's do here. All right, here's the first chunk, and then here's the rest of that one. You don't have to do the whole thing, but you can take a look here. Alrighty. And then you said horror as well. So let me see if I can
Yeah.
find something. If you don't like this one, we can always change to another one.
Okay.
Mm. All right. So then the next two chunks are an excerpt from a horror one. This one, the way I describe it is, let's see, it's called The Third Stair. Let's see, it's about a school teacher who inherits an old farmhouse from an uncle that they weren't close to. Okay. So yeah, take a look at those, see what you think. We can always find another if you like. These right now though are just like they don't really have dialogue. Do we want to find something with dialogue?
I mean, there's a little bit of dialogue in this
Oh,
one of the fire.
oh, perfect. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, cool. Great. Awesome. All righty. Yeah, so what are you noticing so far? What are the things that are standing out to you?
So the one about the kitchen disaster, it's it's definitely, yeah, it's definitely kind of like a sitcom type of situation where uh, a disaster happens in the kitchen, but it's actually comedic. It's not tragic. It's funny, and it has a happy ending.
Yeah, cool. You want to try it?
Yeah,
Or like maybe half of it for now?
yeah, and they're kind of, you sent the first one first, so I read the second text first, and then the in the way they're
I think they're the order they came through. So I think the first is okay. So first of all, in my defense, and then I think it's Jenny walked in on the next is the
okay.
next chunk of the first, the more comedic one. And then the horror one starts at they say you don't notice things right away. And then the second chunk of that is the I told myself it was the plumbing.
Okay.
Cool. Good question. Yeah, making sure we're, you know, on the right track here.
Yeah. First, I'm gonna copy and paste these into a document so that I have them for
Sure.
later.
Okay. Oh, that's smart.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, in my defense, it was supposed to be a romantic gesture. You see, I had this plan. Surprise Jenny, my maybe girlfriend, depending on how you interpret the phrase, I need space, with the homemade dinner. Candles, soft jazz, me in an apron that said, kiss the cook. Even though she hadn't kissed me since Friday, I was going to cook chicken marsala, which, for the record, sounds a lot easier when you say it fast and confidently in a grocery store aisle. In reality, it involves wine, mushrooms, and what I now know is a deep mistrust between me and smoke detectors. By the time the chicken resembled something from a charcoal exhibit and the wine had boiled down into an angry syrup, the smoke alarm started yelling. So naturally, I did what any mature adult man would do. I hit it with a broom until it shut up and knocked over the spice rack in the process. Jenny walked in mid broom assault. She stood in the doorway holding a bag of Thai takeout, which was ironic since I was seconds away from calling the fire department and suggesting we order in again. She just looked around at the scorched pan, the wine splatter on the ceiling, the oregano raining down from the spice rack, and said very calmly, Doug, are you okay? And I told her the truth. Define okay, because the chicken's dead, the ceiling's seasoned, and I think the cat's probably judging from the top of the fridge. She laughed, which was probably a good sign, unless it was the kind of laugh where you're actually just leave where you're actually just giving up on someone completely. Anyway, I learned something that night. One, fire is hot. Two, Thai food is always the right answer. And three, if you're going to make a grand romantic gesture, maybe don't involve open flames or mushrooms or jazz saxophone solos. Honestly, just order noodles and tell her she looks amazing. It's safer for everyone. Then they say you don't notice things right away in an old house. Oh, wait, that's starting on the horror one. Okay.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
I
Yep.
didn't I didn't have a space. Let me
Oh, you're good. All right. So tell me, what do you think is the genre of this, and what's our target audience?
I think romantic comedy.
Okay, sure. Great. And so then tell me a little bit about your character since it is first person.
He is accident prone.
All right. What else?
Probably not a skilled cook.
Okay.
Um, maybe not really safety oriented, hitting the
Okay.
smoke detector with a broom instead of dealing with the cause of the
Right.
someone who's kind of generally a mess but still kind of has it together enough to function in society.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. So then, um, great. So what would you say about their personality?
They definitely have kind of a good sense of humor, you
Okay.
know, I would say, some people might just completely freak out if something like that happened. And
Right.
so
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. So then, yeah. So then tell me, what kind of mood and like um attitude and the kind of feel do you think we're giving this?
I think it's kind of light.
Okay. Yeah,
It's meant to make people laugh.
I agree. Yeah. Okay. Good. So what do you think you want to do with this one?
I think focus on giving it a more comedic light tone.
Yeah. Okay, great. Do you have a certain person that you maybe want to channel the way that they would do it? Like if John Goodman read this.
It's a good question. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah,
I have to think about that. What I
sure.
channel.
Right, because like John Goodman and Jeff Foxworthy would do it very differently, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes having a person that you want to channel can be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Alrighty, so let's just try it again and
Okay.
just kind of explore and see what you come up with.
Okay. So, first of all, in my defense, it was supposed to be a romantic gesture. You see, I had this plan. Surprise Jenny, my maybe girlfriend, depending on how you interpret the phrase, I need space, with a homemade dinner. Candles, soft jazz, me in an apron that said, kiss the cook. Even though she hadn't kissed me since February, I was going to cook chicken marsala, which, for the record, sounds a lot easier when you say it fast and confidently in a grocery store aisle. In reality, it involves wine, mushrooms, and what I now know is a deep mistrust between me and smoke detectors. By the time the chicken resembled something from a charcoal exhibit and the wine had boiled down into an angry syrup, the smoke alarm started yelling. So naturally, I did what any mature adult man would do. I hit it with a broom until it shut up and knocked over the spice rack in the process. Jenny was in mid broom assault. She stood in the doorway holding a bag of Thai takeout, which was ironic since I was seconds away from calling the fire department. and suggesting we order in again. She just looked around at the scorched pan, the wine splatter on the ceiling, the oregano raining down from the spice shelf, and said very calmly, Doug, are you okay? And I told her the truth. I said, define okay. Because the chicken's dead, the ceiling's seasoned, and I think the cat's judging me from the top of the fridge. She laughed, which was probably a good sign, unless it was that kind of laugh where you're actually just giving up on someone completely. And I learned something that night. One, fire is hot. Two, Thai food is always the right answer. And three, if you're going to make a grand romantic gesture, maybe don't involve open flame or mushrooms or jazz saxophone solos. Honestly, just order noodles and tell her she looks amazing. It's safer for everyone.
Yeah. All right, good. So, where do you think you'd be telling this story? Why would you be telling this story?
Um, Maybe like with a group of friends
Sure.
or at work.
Yeah. Maybe you like go to the bar with your buddies and they're like, "How was the date last night?" And
Yeah.
then this is what you tell them.
Yeah.
How do you think that you'd want them to respond to what you say?
I would hope they would laugh because
Yeah,
it's a funny story. I
I
mean, it's
think so.
a
Yeah,
disaster, but it's a funny disaster.
I agree. Yeah, it is funny. So then, yeah, so then, yeah, let's try it again. I want you to imagine an actual friend of yours that you can be like telling this to in your mind if you were this person.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, in my defense, it was supposed to be a romantic gesture. You see, I had this plan. Surprise Jenny, my maybe girlfriend, depending on how you interpret the phrase, I need space with a homemade dinner. Candles, soft jazz, me in an apron that said, kiss the cook, even though she hadn't kissed me since February. I was going to cook chicken marsala, which, for the record, sounds a lot easier when you say it fast and confidently in a grocery store aisle. In reality, it involves wine, mushrooms, and what I now know is a deep mistrust between me and smoke detectors. By the time the chicken resembled something from a charcoal exhibit and the wine had boiled down into an angry syrup, the smoke alarm started yelling. So naturally, I did what any mature adult man would do. I hit it with a broom until it shut up and knocked over the spice rack in the process. Jenny walked in mid broom assault. She stood in the doorway holding a bag of Thai takeout, which was ironic since I was seconds away from calling the fire department and suggesting we order in again. She just looked around at the scorched pan, the wine splatter on the ceiling, the oregano raining down from the spice shelf, and said very calmly, Doug, are you okay? And I told her the truth. I said, define okay. Because the chicken's dead, the ceiling's seasoned, and I think the cat's probably judging me from the top of the fridge. She laughed, which was probably a good sign, unless it was the kind of laugh where you're just giving up on someone completely. Anyway, I learned something that night. One, fire is hot. Two, Thai food is always the right answer. And three, if you're going to make a grand romantic gesture, maybe don't involve open flame or mushrooms or jazz saxophone solos. Honestly, just order noodles and tell her she looks amazing. It's safer for everyone.
All right, nice. Good. All right. So, what do we like about that vest?
I think the section where she asked him if he's okay, and then he goes on and says, define okay. I think because this is kind of a longer one, I'm not going to use the whole thing. I think that's the chunk that I'm going to use for this
Sure.
clip.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was funny. I definitely heard it a little bit differently there. I heard some different, things landed differently that I was like, oh, okay, I heard that in a different way, and it was funnier to me then. Yeah. So, what do you think of it? What was your favorite thing about it? Did you have certain lines that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, the the line where he says, "The chicken's dead, the ceiling's seasoned, and I think the cat's probably judging me from the top of the fridge."
Mm-hmm. Good. Good. So then what are you going to do with this one this week as you're practicing with it? What are your goals with it?
Just repeat it a few times and just get comfortable re reading it so that it comes out more naturally and smoothly for my reel.
Love it. Okay, great. Yeah, just so it flows a little bit better. Also
Yeah,
play with the comedic timing. So playing with like your pauses and your pacing a little bit more. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, good. So then tell me a little bit as you're, going to be starting in on this horror one as well. How do you approach a horror script? What's going to be kind of like what you think of when you think of horror?
Definitely more serious tone, uh, frightening, scary,
Okay.
mysterious.
Sure. Yeah. So when you think about horror, who are maybe some people that you imagine would do really well with a horror narration?
Oh, I think.
I was thinking maybe the movie that came out, Sinners, that's out right now. Um, it's not like what I think of as definitely like traditional horror. It's a little more like historical fiction. Um, there's really great acting in it. But it definitely has a lot of like suspense and like what's gonna happen. And there's this like ominous quality with like, oh, there's references to like the Ku Klux Klan and stuff in there. And then it's like, what? Once you see what the horror movie's actually about, it's like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's amazing. So like I think maybe like the main character from there, Michael, it's the what is it? It's not Michael Jordan, it's the actor who's like, what am I thinking? Um, Michael B. Jordan. I was like, I'm
Michael
missing a
B.
letter or
Jordan.
a junior or something, but yeah,
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan. Um, as the actor, I could maybe like channel his character in that or something. So maybe think about kind of maybe absorbing some of that kind of a like find the feeling of some of some different types of horror, because there's like horror comedy and all kinds of things, but I feel like that would be a good sound to maybe emulate. Yeah. So maybe do a little bit of listening, maybe to like
Yeah.
other horror stories, find some podcasts or things that you could listen to and be like, what do I like? What are they doing? And kind of study that. Because I don't think we've really done much with that. So getting a little more into that spooky,
Yeah.
building the tension and whatnot.
Or even like what's that show? Dateline.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, if you can think of, like even something like a kid's thing that's like building tension, like, are you afraid of the dark?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Awesome. Good. Yeah. So I'm excited to hear what you do with these. Could you maybe work on these and then record them and send them to me when you're done so I can take a
Sure.
listen before the lesson?
Yeah.
Great, cool. Awesome. Great work today, Robert.
Thank you.
Really nice work here. Also, if you want to, after you do a couple little tweaks with the edits on the others, if you want to maybe forward those to me and I can take a listen to those too, okay?
Okay.
Nice work.
Thank
Keep
you.
up the great work, and I will see you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Alrighty, bye, Robert. Have a good
Bye.
one.